Yes, dear students, we had already covered up to page number 6 in the previous videos. Today, we'll start from this question number 26 as it was left to be discussed. Find out reasons for the low proportion of net zone area in Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Manipur and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. That I told you that day also that because of hilly, rocky, uneven terrain, net zone percent is less in Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram and Manipur, and because of the dense forest that needed to be cut down if we have to use that land for agriculture. So you can see here also Mizoram, Manipur and Andhra Pradesh net zone area percent is low due to hilly and rocky terrain. They are also largely covered by dense forest which will needed to be cut to develop agriculture. And Andaman and Nicobar Islands also are covered by dense forest, tropical forest, and so net zone area is low. So now we'll start from the last paragraph. This was also left. Forest area in the country is far lower than the desired 33% of geographical area as it was outlined in the National Forest Policy 1952. This forest area, what is the desired percent? That is 33% because it was considered essential for maintenance of ecological balance. To maintain a balance of nature, it's very much needed. And second point, the livelihood of millions of people who live on the fringes of these forests, fringes means edges or border, depends upon it. A part of the land is termed as wasteland and land put to other non-agricultural uses. Wasteland includes rocky, arid and desert areas, and land put to other non-agricultural uses include settlements, roads, railways, industries, etc. Now, arid land, that is a region. A region is arid when it is characterized by a severe lack of available water that hinder the growth of plants. Here you can see, read again also. And second term which is needed to be explained, that settlement. A place, typically one which has previously been uninhabited, where people established a community. That is known as settlement. Roads, railways, industries, etc. Now we'll talk about that how our land get degraded. Continuous use of land over a long period of time without taking appropriate measures to conserve and manage it has resulted in land degradation. You can see question number 27 on the top. How does land degradation occur? So you can write this answer for the same. Now we'll talk about land degradation and conservation measures. Because of the human activities, a lot of land had been already degraded, so there is dire need to adopt some conservation measures. So before we talk about conservation measures, we need to look about what activities done by humans that had degraded the land. We have shared our land with the past generations and we'll have to do so with the future generations too. 95% of our basic needs, 95% of our basic needs for food, shelter and clothing are obtained from land. That shows the utmost importance of land. Human activities have not only brought about degradation of land, but also have aggravated, increased the pace of natural forces to cause damage to land. Naturally, through human activities, nature will be disturbed. Nature also will cause disturbance for the human beings. Now we'll talk about causes. This is 28A. That is, what are the causes of land degradation? Some human activities such as deforestation, overgrazing, mining and quarrying. Quarrying means cut into rock to obtain stones. That is known as quarrying. So like for limestone, quarried is done for use in blast. Limestone is quarried for use in blast furnaces. And mining also is done to obtain coal or other minerals from a mine. So grazing, mining, quarrying to have contributed significantly in land degradation. Now in next paragraph, area wise we'll discuss. Area wise we will read which activities are responsible for land degradation. Mining sites are abundant after excavation work is complete, leaving deep scars and traces of overburdening. In states like Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Odisha, deforestation due to mining have caused severe land degradation. In states like Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, overgrazing is one of the main reasons for land degradation. In the states of Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh, over-irrigation is responsible for land degradation. What is the cause? Over-irrigation due to waterlogging leading to increase in salinity and alkalinity in the soil. So what is this waterlogging? Waterlogging is a form of natural flooding when underground water rises to surface level as a result of over irrigation, that is known as waterlogging. And salinity, waterlogging leading to increase in salinity and alkalinity. That is, alkalinity is the water's ability to neutralize acids. It's a measure of acid neutralizing capacity of water. The mineral processing like grinding of limestone for cement industry and calcite and soapstone for ceramic industry generate huge quantity of dust in the atmosphere, and because of dust it retards means delay or slow down the process of infiltration of water. Now what is this infiltration? That is the process by which water on the ground surface enter the soil. Infiltration of water into the soil after it settles down on the land. In recent years, industrial effluents as waste have become a major source of land and water pollution in many parts of the country. Now these effluents, what are these? Is an outflowing of water or gas to a natural body of water from a structure such as treatment plants, sewer pipes, or from industries when such effluents are released into the water bodies that cause a lot of harm. So here 28 question A, what are the causes of the land degradation? And the next paragraph we are going to read about what are the ways to solve the problem. There are many ways to solve the problems of land degradation. Afforestation means plantation should be done on a large scale and proper management of grazing can help to some extent. Then planting of shelter belts of plants, control on overgrazing, stabilization of sand dunes by growing thorny bushes are some of the methods to check land degradation, because plants make the soil tight and it helps it not to get eroded in arid areas. Proper management of wastelands, control of mining activities, proper discharge and disposal of industrial effluents and waste after treatment can reduce land and water degradation in industrial and suburban areas. So next topic which we are going to read about, soil as a resource. So the question what is written here, the soil is a living system. How soil is a living system? We have to explain. Or this question also can be asked like this, why is soil considered as a living system? Mention any two factors that are responsible for soil formation. Let's read about. Soil is the most important renewable that can be renewed natural resource. It is a medium of plant growth and supports different types of living organisms on the earth. The soil is a living system. It takes millions of years to form. That also takes millions of years to form. Soil up to a few centimeters in depth. Relief, parent rock, bedrock, climate, vegetation and other forms of life and time are important factors. These are factors which contribute in the formation of soil. Various forces of nature such as change in temperature, actions of running water, wind and glaciers, activities of decomposers also contribute to the formation of soil. chemical and organic changes which take place in the soil are equally important. Soil also consists of organic humus and inorganic materials. On the basis of the factors responsible for soil formation, color, thickness, texture, age, chemical and physical properties, the soils of India are classified in different types. Now you can see this word humus. What is this? The organic compound of soil formed by the decomposition of leaves and other plant material by soil microorganism is known as humus. Now we'll read about classification of soils. We'll read about alluvial soil, black soil, red and laterite soil. First start from alluvial soil. So here we are going to read about the area of distribution, the process of formation, and what's the composition, and how we can differentiate what are the essential characteristics of these soils. Yes, question number 30 is area of distribution and formation. This is the most widely spread and important soil. In fact, the entire northern plains are made of alluvial soil. These have been deposited by three important Himalayan river systems, the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. These soils also extend in Rajasthan and Gujarat through a narrow corridor. Alluvial soil is also found in the eastern coastal plains, particularly in the deltas of Mahanadi, the Godavari, the Krishna and the Kaveri rivers. Next is, what is the composition of alluvial soil? The alluvial soil consists of various proportions of sand, silt and clay. As we move inland towards the river valleys, soil particles appear somewhat bigger in size. In the upper reaches of the river valley, that is near the place of the break of slope, the soils are coarse. Coarse means very harsh, rough. Such soils are common in Piedmont plains. Piedmont is an area found on the foothills, such as Duras, Chos and Terai. Next is, apart from the size of their grains or components, soils are also described on the basis of their age. How soils can be described on the basis of their age? According to their age, alluvial soils can be classified as old alluvial, that is Bangar, and new alluvial, that is Khadar. The Bangar soil has higher concentration, means clustered off, grouped together of conquered nodules than the Khadar. It has more fine particles and is more fertile than the Bangar. So taking these points, you can give a differentiation also between the old alluvial and new alluvial. Now next we are going to read about why alluvial soils as a whole very fertile. Mostly these soils contain adequate proportion of potash, phosphoric acid and lime, which are ideal for the growth of sugarcane, paddy, wheat and other cereal and pulse crop. Due to its high fertility, regions of alluvial soils are intensively cultivated and densely populated. Soils in the drier areas are more alkaline and can be productive after proper treatment and irrigation. Yes, now next we'll talk about black soil. So before we start this paragraph, you please have a look on the questions. Which soils are called black soils? 33A. B. In which regions are black soil found? And what are the chief characteristics of black soil? These soils are black in color and are also known as rigid soils. This is the other name for black soil. Black soil is ideal for growing cotton and is also known as black cotton soil. We can see the wonders of the nature that from black soil we obtained white cotton. It is believed that climatic conditions along with the parent rock material are the important factors for the formation of black soil. This type of soil is typical of the Deccan region spread over northwest Deccan Plateau and is made up of lava flows. Now plateau, all of must be knowing that it's an area of raised land that is flat on the top. Here we are talking about the large Deccan Plateau in western and southern India. They cover the plateaus of Maharashtra, Surashtra is the peninsular region of Gujarat, Malwa, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, and extend in the southeast direction along the Godavari and the Krishna valleys. Dear students, you note down, this is also Malwa is a region of India in the southeast of the state of Punjab and parts of Haryana and Rajasthan between Satluj and Yamuna rivers. Now 33C question which we discussed. What are the chief characteristics of black soil? The black soils are made up of extremely fine clay material. They are well known for their capacity to hold moisture. In addition, they are rich in soil nutrients such as calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash and lime. These soils are generally poor in phosphoric contents. They develop deep cracks during hot weather, which helps in the proper aeration of the soil. These soils are sticky when wet and difficult to work on unless tilled immediately after the first shower or during the pre-monsoon period. Yes, dear students, in this video we'll cover up to this page, up to black soil. Next video will start from the rest of the soils, that will cover red and yellow, laterite soil, arid soil and forest soil. So my dear students, I have put my efforts to write the questions simultaneously. I'll give you a PDF also. You can note down questions from there. But what is most important, that you should read your book, and while reading you mark your questions as well as your answers for the proper revision of the lesson. Thank you.